heavy hitters. This is gonna be a counting down.
True. My heart will start beating fast. We're back for number 2.
Yeah.
Let's go.
With better
Let's
audio.
go.
First
Better
time was
audio,
my fault.
hopefully.
I chose the wrong input. I think once I connected my earbud, it automatically made input from this. So I was holding a mic in front of my mouth for no reason for an hour.
Classic. How have you been, man? You've been doing
Good.
some travels. You've been on an
I
adventure.
just landed in Bangkok this morning, and
Are you back
guess
in
what
Life
I
or So?
did? Yeah, so I met with a lawyer for dinner, and he's a very popular corporate lawyer. I think he's very wealthy, very famous here in Thailand. I had dinner with him
Okay. How did you meet this guy?
about 6 years ago when I was backpacking in Europe. I found him. I didn't know that he was wealthy back then, so we just became friends and we kept in touch.
And he's based in Bangkok?
Correct.
Very nice.
However, given he's a professional lawyer, there isn't a lot of common topics we can share besides a joke here and there of when I get in jail, I know who to call, you know.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
I'll make sure them to give you a good torture.
Nice. So, did you take him to a barbecue?
The same Arroy Sushi.
Oh, really?
He took me there, yeah.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'm having the seafood buzz, the high again.
Really?
That shit is real, man. I did not believe you the first time, but it's so.
Bro, that's weird. And I don't think many people can experience it because it's very rare to be able to eat that much raw fish and raw seafood in one go. Only in Bangkok and at an all-you-can-eat place can people experience that seafood high. But it's really weird, man.
I got smart
It's
this
real.
time, so I have to show you a picture. It's gonna be very memeable. So this is before,
That's a really good photo.
and this is after.
Dude, that's a really good photo. Man, if there's one thing, I have mixed feelings about Bangkok, but if there's one thing that I miss about it, it's the Arroy Sushi. That place is a gold mine, man. I love that place. And the barbecues, all you can eat barbecues, man. I miss it. You just don't get the same in Europe.
Totally.
All right. Tell me about, because you're in Hong Kong for a bit and you were in Vietnam too, weren't you? How were they?
It was good. And so we went to Vietnam because it was the Web3 convention. It was
Nice.
For the whole week, a lot of events. It's called GM Vietnam. Met a lot of people, a lot of network.
Any heavy hitters?
There's this Russian
One heavy hitter.
Russian guy.
Okay. And is he back in Bangkok with you or?
Yeah, he's with me. He's still a couple rooms down there.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Dude, you live a hectic life, and what's your plans now? Are you still going to be flying around with Michael
Or by myself.
But like, where are you going next? Are you hanging out in Bangkok for a bit longer or?
I think so.
Nice. Did you see Thailand I don't know if we spoke about it on the last call, but they just introduced new visas. You can do 6 months, 12 months, bunch of digital nomad visas.
It was supposedly to be valid starting June 1st, but I got through the custom today. They only give me 30 days. And I asked the staff and they said, oh, it's not signed yet, the prime minister, blah, blah, blah. Whereas in the group chat of the expats, some people already got their 60 days.
Really?
Someone.
Okay. 60 days on arrival plus 30-day extension?
60 days by default, plus you can extend.
That's what you got, but are people getting 60 days by default already?
Some people, I only got 30 days.
Yeah, okay. But you can get one extension, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll need it because I'll be flying out to Japan.
When?
July 1st, I think.
July 1st, bro. Amazing.
Japan summer. But how's Budapest?
It's good. What have I done in the last week since speaking to you? We went out. So there was these two girls that we met in Phuket, really weird. I've never
Mm-hmm.
met a Hungarian in my life. And then we planned
Mm-hmm.
this Budapest thing, and me and James were
Wow.
out at a club. It was the first night that he landed, and we went to a club,
Uh-huh.
and it was completely empty. And then these two girls walk in, and I go over and introduce myself. And my opening line, whenever I'm in a nightclub environment, especially in different things, it's always,
Uh-huh.
"You look like you're from blank." It's something like that. It's always an assumption of where you're from.
Okay.
You look like you're from something blank. And I think in Phuket, because 80% of people are Russian or German, I either flip between them. And if someone looks
Uh-huh.
Russian, it's very easy to tell. And they kind of looked
Yeah.
Russian. And they were like, "No, we're from Hungary." Anyway, hung out with them, became pretty good friends with them, and they went on and
Mm-hmm.
kept traveling. And then they came back to Budapest, and then we hung out with them. And they have been showing us around some like classic. They're giving us the non-tourist version of Budapest, which is quite nice.
Wow.
Besides for that, just been working hard. That's like main thing front of mind for me is just grinding.
In the PUA, pick up artistry tricks, one of them is to make statements instead of asking questions. So instead of asking, what do you do for a living? Go directly, hey, you look like a teacher. You look like a clerk, an accountant. If don't say, oh, how old are you? Say, oh, you look about 20 years old, 21. No matter if it gets high, gets low, or the same age, you always get a good response.
Oh, 100%. Dude, there's so many like little nuances in the PUA, like PUA advice and like
Uh-huh.
tips and tricks and stuff. But
Uh-huh.
the two things that really have stuck out to me, that's one of them
Mm-hmm.
is statements. And it goes beyond even just like trying to get girls or PUA. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just being a more charismatic, interesting person talking to anyone. You would know because you're
Mm-hmm.
extremely charismatic and network so easily. But if some guy came up to me and asked, "Are you Australian?" or some guy came up to me and said, "Oh, you look like you're Australian." The second one is much more charismatic because people love, I don't know, it's more forward. It's more an interesting way to start talking to someone. That's one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that is good that comes out of the PUA circle. What was the other one that I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking of? Oh, it's tell. This isn't more of a charismatic thing, but it's like with girls, and it's so universal. Is they want to be told rather than asked. It's not. Do you want to go get coffee? It's we're getting coffee at this date. It's we're doing this at this time. You know what I mean? I think they're two good universal. Of all the hundreds of little tips and tricks, I
Mm-hmm.
think they're the two basic good ones.
There's numerous evidence to show that the girls will be more attracted to you when you lead.
Yeah.
And from my personal experience, I cannot tell you how many girls thank me for making the initiative, plan everything out, show her directly what to do, what to wear, what to order for food, just do everything for her. They love that.
100%, bro. They love being able to turn your brain. Everyone does. I don't even think it's just a male or female thing. I think if you can, that's why people like vacation tours or set menus at restaurants. It's like when the decision making is taken out of something, it becomes a more enjoyable experience, and it is a
Very
more feminine trait. But I think anyone can
correct.
like see that if you can just turn your brain off and enjoy the experience, it's obvious. It's
Yeah.
like always going universally going to be a better experience. So
Have you seen that TikTok in the guy's mind? Okay, we need to be at airport gate in 20 minutes, and once we check into the hotel, we go to this restaurant, then we go to this venue, this park, this place for firework. Whereas in the female brain, la da di da di.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And it's so true. It's so true. It's 100% true. I think you're really good at that. When we hung out a bunch in Bangkok, you were like, "I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this," and it was so much fun hanging out with you because you had a set plan, and it was like me and James had finished work for the day, and we're hanging out with Eugene. But Eugene's got everything covered. We're going to this restaurant at this time, then we're going to this place, then we're going to this place, then we're going to this place, and it made it infinitely more fun. Whereas if me and James are doing a bunch of work and then we're like, let's go and do something, and then we're like, should we go here? Should we go here? Should we go here? The decision making being removed always heightens an experience, and you're great at that.
Yeah, I'm confident to say that those nights you hang out without me or with me, have different levels of dopamine.
Yeah, for sure. Bro, what are you working on? Oh, is it still under wraps? You wouldn't tell us last episode.
So I got a crypto wallet called A1. Part of that, also P2P exchanges platform wise.
Okay. What does that mean?
That means
like you're
laundering money.
One? You're you're laundering money now?
Correct.
Really?
Metaphorically.
Okay. Is that so? Does Michael run these exchanges, or like does he build the infrastructure for them, or is that not a good description of what he's doing?
Although I've spent so much time with him, but I still don't think I've quite figured him out yet. He's quite an enigma.
Okay. I can see that.
He has a lot of depth. And still to this day, he'll tell me that he owns this business or that whatever franchise. And I'll be shocked. What?
Really? Damn, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Bro, do you know, you'll enjoy this because I know you've read the book and we actually spoke about it in Bangkok. I'm making my way through Art of the Deal.
Mm-hmm.
And
by Donald Trump.
By Donald Trump. And dude, that is inspiring me to have higher heights for my ambitions. Something I think would be really cool is you make your money somewhere. So let's say you make a bunch of money in crypto and you're pretty liquid, you're cash rich. I think it'd be awesome to pick a spot. So there's a place in mind in Australia that I really love. It's on the Central Coast. It's maybe an hour outside of Sydney, and it's the best beaches in the world. But it's very it's not remote, but it's almost like a small village. Like it has a very small population. There's one restaurant in there. I think it'd be awesome to buy up a bunch of land, build buildings, put in a restaurant, put in a go-karting track, and make that suburb yours. I think that, and because Trump kind of did that with New York, he did it on the high scale. I think that is so cool. What are your thoughts on that?
There has been such towns. Do you know? I know there's a YouTuber. He bought a ghost town and started renovating it and recorded the entire process. Yeah,
in Nevada, or it was like a desert town or like a mining town, right?
Yes, correct. So it has that kind of like a vibe to it, the Texan vibe. And also there's a quilt town. Do you know, like the bad things the sheets, quilts, pillows, everything. They have a town for that as well. Very fascinating.
Like they just make quilts in that town?
Yeah. And it's also quite very touristy spot. It's more popular among Midwest white middle-aged women, I guess. That's why we've never heard of it. They mentioned on FMF. That's why I know about it.
Dude, do you listen to all the episodes?
All the episodes.
All the episodes. I went off them for a while and now I'm back on them. Here's an interesting insight I've had over the past week.
Okay.
If you whatever content you consume, your mind, your subconscious mind, when there's moments in between and your brain will always go to something. It's like you're having a shower or you're in a taxi somewhere or you're not doing anything, you're not on your phone, it's like your unconscious mind will always drift to a topic. Sometimes it's an ex-girlfriend or it's whatever's front of mind. I've noticed, and it's so obvious saying it, but it's like a revelation that I've had. Whatever content I'm consuming, my unconscious mind will grasp onto that thing. So had you Small Brained American? Back when me and James were in Australia before we even came to Thailand and started our trip, we had nothing planned, and I started consuming a ton of his content, and my brain immediately switched and was like, I need to start traveling. I need to start recording content of me traveling. I need to I'm still in my mid-20s. I need to start traveling. Now that I'm more on the business thing, I've noticed if I consume nothing else besides for My First Million and Alex Hormozy, my brain will always unconsciously go back to that, and I'll be so much more driven in the business goals that I want to accomplish. And it will be the only thing that I prioritize and focus on. So it's an interesting
I can definitely relate.
Revelation I've had. Yeah. Same with if you start consuming, do you know Justin Mark?
No, this I don't know actually.
Justin Mark. He's like a
I'm searching
pickup
him.
guru. I'm sure you've seen him. He's the Indian guy. His
No,
big selling
no
point is
idea.
he's like 5'3", but he crushes it in Canada. You've
Mhm.
never seen him?
I've never seen him.
Anyway,
Okay, what about him?
My more macro point is like if you start consuming a ton of pickup content, you're going to be like, I need to start talking to girls now. I need to start cold approaching. I need to start messaging girls. I need to start running my numbers up. And all these other things will just fall to the wayside. So you can sort of like brainwash yourself. You can like consciously think, what is the one thing I actually want to focus on? And then curate the content that you consume to that.
Have you heard of a book called The Secret?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about the same thing. So one of the core theory in the book is you achieve whatever you put your mind to.
But I think the whole law of attraction is just based on that revelation. I just pretty much said the law of attraction in a different way. It's like whatever you keep front of mind, you will achieve.
You know, if you're a girl, you'll probably explain this using zodiac or whatever crystal stone, right? And I think they're all describing the same thing. Very interesting.
So true. So true. What is we spoke about it last week and you didn't have 100% answer. What is your front of mind goal? If you consciously had to think about it, like, are you on enjoying my 20s? Or like, what is front of mind your main goal right now?
Traveling, money, and girls. That's it.
Traveling, money, and girls. Have you read the book Essentialism?
Essentialism?
Yeah.
Interesting. Who's the author?
I haven't read it, but I just know I've listened to so many people speak about it and I've looked at the diagrams and it makes sense in my head. If you look up Greg McKeown, that guy, yeah. It's essentially, he's like, I haven't read it, so I'm giving you the second order of explanations of it.
Okay.
The big thing is like once you achieve a certain level of something, you can't. It's like if you've been going to the gym for 6 months, you won't be able to hit PR or let's say 2 years. If gym isn't your number one focus, you're not going to be smashing personal records whilst also smashing your business goals if you're competent in both of them. It's like it's so hard to be competent and good at one thing that you have to pick that one thing, and then at best you can only maintain these other areas of your life. Does that make sense?
Interesting. I think I can explain using a side story. It's a phenomenon I've noticed. No matter how successful the guy is, let it be Elon Musk, he still plays video games. Do you see his live streams on Twitter, on X?
Yeah.
Also, like let's say this guy I've been hanging out with every day, Michael, he plays Candy Crush as a multi-millionaire. So no matter how top tier you are, they cannot function 24/7. They all have their own
100%.
their own ways. That is, my point is everybody's attention or their mental energy is limited. You can only spend it on the certain things.
Very true. And I think if you want to be world class or even in the top 5% of something, so let's say arbitrarily you want to be making 50K US a month, like that's a goal. That's well into the top 5% of the world. So that's a very hefty goal to be chasing. If you're trying to do that whilst also trying to become a top 5% lifter, so like get dude, I'm doing these I'm back on these dip things. But I'm very little you know what they are? They're so big in Europe.
Tobacco.
They're not tobacco. These ones are like there's no tobacco in them. It's just the nicotine. And I'm so sensitive to stimulants. I can't keep it in. I need to put it in for like 15 seconds and then take it out. I get like too jittery. Oh wow! I'm back on them. It really focuses my brain. You know Tucker Carlson? He loves them. Yeah. He said some quote. He said it was something along the lines of THC weed is for liberals, but nicotine is for Republican.
That's so fun.
And it's like because if you do 2,8-THC, you're much more likely to comply and like groupthink and like be lazy. And but if you're doing
Okay.
nicotine, it'll like get your. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, but please go back to the top 5% of.
Oh yeah, let's
I'm
say
listening.
you want to get top 5% income, so you want to start making 50K USD.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's possible to be doing that whilst also becoming a top 5% lifter. So I know it doesn't look like it. I've been gymming for a while, and if I go to gym 2-3 times a week, I'll maintain this baseline level of like strength and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't hit PRs whilst also trying to make more money in my business. Does that make sense? I can only pick
Yeah, it
one
does.
thing to focus on, and I'd put girls into that as well. I can't be trying to get girls whilst also trying to PR my business because, yeah, at least that's what I found for myself, and that's what I understand from essentialism.
When I was young, I always thought if the right circumstances have come, I will work so hard, like 14 hours a day. But throughout the years, I finally have come to peace with myself. I realized I can only be productive for 4 hours a day. That's it. Even if I work 8 hours, technically, if I'm honest with myself, I can finish that in 4 hours.
No, that's I haven't read the deep work book, but I know a big thing is like for most humans, you can only actually get 4 good hours of work a day. And then your brain is like completely fried. And that's not like answering emails or like, I don't know, chopping up a
Correct.
video or
Correct.
something. It's like proper, deep, inflow, like proper work. So yeah, I think that's
Agreed.
very true. I think that's very true. But anyway, circling way back, you said your focus is on girls, fun, and business. So I'm pushing back and I'm saying I don't think you can do all three at once. So if you had to pick one that you're PRing, what do you reckon is the most important for you?
I would say money.
Money? Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
Money gives you freedom, and the freedom is the equivalence of life.
Agreed. Agreed. What level would you be happy with?
So by the age of 30, 1 million mark. By the age of 35, 10 million mark. By the age of 40,
Wait, say that again.
50 or
30,
100.
1 million mark?
Yeah. And then
And
35, 10.
10? Okay.
And the 40, like either 50 or 100.
50 or
But
100.
it doesn't really affect my level of happiness anymore.
Dude, yeah. Me and James have many conversations about this. You'll appreciate this because you're in the exact same boat. Did you ever work at like classic 9 to 5, like in an office?
I did. So my
What did
first
you do?
job, because I graduated from a pretty good university with good grades, a lot of travel experiences, and I landed in a pension fund counselor. Can you believe me as a 22-year-old fresh graduate was advising 65, 60-year-old people what they should do with their retirement money?
Nice.
I was like teaching them how to fill out the forms, like they should put in like 90% bonds, right, to be less volatile.
Yep.
I always thought, who am I, right, to give these old people tips on their life savings? So it was a unionized job, so it was even more stable. There's no way I can get fired. But after a year, I quit because I realized I'm not learning anything. I'm not growing anymore. I'm stuck with an outdated system, repeating the same words.
Bro, we have a very similar come up story because I graduated and also lasted 12 months. I don't that sounds like a pretty good job. Like high status job. I went and worked at the biggest bank in Australia, but I started in the debt department and the like ground floor. The pay was good, but it was the typical wake up before the sun comes up,
Mm-hmm.
an hour and a half on a train to get into the office. I was put in a cubicle, wouldn't see the sun,
Wow.
do the classic 9 to 5 in winter in Australia. I would finish up work after the sun had gone down, take that hour and a half train home. And I did that for a year. And exact same thing with you. I only lasted 1 year, but it gives you a good grip on the like trajectory after uni if you do all the right things. Where was I going with this circular point? Where was I going with the circular point? We're talking about money goals.
I'll finish mine first. So this job was indeed a very good job that when I told both of like later, I know that both of my grandmas cried after they realized I quit. That's how bad they got affected. Yes, in fact, the bank gave me a 300K USD mortgage the day I got my offer.
Damn.
Yeah, so yeah,
Dude,
so I bought my first real estate with that. So no complaints, I guess.
Isn't that crazy? They give you that. It's almost like they set the mousetrap up because once you accept that, it's a way bigger risk for you to quit. But if you accept it,
Correct.
then you're much more likely that you're going to stay in this like good paying job, right? And there's
True.
a much lower likelihood that you're going to leave. I remember the like more circular point. The more circular point is, I think in every entrepreneur or like young guy's life, the biggest quality of life jump that you're ever going to get, no matter what stage you're on, is the point in which you make enough money or you have the means to leave that 9 to 5 job, and then you're able to travel. You don't have to wake up on an alarm. You have time, location, and somewhat money freedom. So around like 5 to 10K a month is that thing. The best jump in quality of life is leaving that classic 9 to 5, and then the next thing.
Yeah.
If I start making an extra 50K USD a month right now, my life would change very little. It would be a very small bump in quality of life compared to leaving that job and being able to travel. Even if the realistically what would change, I would fly first class and I'd get slightly better accommodation. Like I'd be doing the exact same thing. So what you said, like money doesn't really change anything, is so true. And
Same. If I was chatting with my mom about this, and let's say if I'm financially free, I'll be doing the exact same thing I'm doing now. Try to meet cool people, travel to cool places, date girls, try to make more money by making more business deals. Probably the only difference will be I will be staying in probably slightly better hotels. That's it.
100%.
I was eating
100%.
already the top tier food already.
100%. Yeah. Me and James did that thing for his birthday. Like we went to the 2 Michelin star. Like we might be doing dinners like that a little bit more often, but it's like it's such a small bump in quality of life that it's like, yeah. Once you get to that point, you need to find the motivation somewhere else. So what I've locked onto is the like, I think after you have a few million, like cash liquid, and it's like you can afford to buy a decent house paid off in cash, and you could support a chick, like a wife, without her ever needing to work a job, and you could have a few children, and like that's all paid off in cash. I think that's the next thing I want to lock in on, because then it's like, then you know with certainty you never ever have to go back to the 9 to 5, because like
Correct.
even with the money we're making now, it's always in the back of my mind, what if everything blows up and goes to zero and I have to go back to that? It's like, I feel like the next level is like when that is 100% never a possibility. You have money in safe assets, and you can afford that. Like the like standard life is like, I feel like that the game is over, and then you're just playing for like points on the board.
Amazing. I have 2 points to expand on that. When you mentioned about this, your money to support a female, I hear this quote. I think you might be able to relate. A financially freed man or stable man can provide such thing to his wife that he can give his wife an unlimited budget for healthy food, things for their children, flowers, beautiful sundresses, makeup, and if you can buy all of those things for your children, then you are financially stable. That is a very good descriptive way to say it.
That very well said. Very well said. And I think that that's the level that I'm trying to lock in on now, because then it's like then it's. Have you seen The Gambler with who is it? It's not Matt Damon. It's the guy that looks like Matt Damon.
Again, I'm googling that.
What's
Kenny
his
Rogers?
Name? No. Oh no, no. That's the song.
Oh, he's the Mark
Wahlberg. Yeah. So there's a scene. Have you seen The Gambler, or you haven't seen it?
I have not. I'll do that tonight.
It's a good movie. But there's a scene in that, and he's like getting into debt, and he's like he gets a loan off like a loan shark, and the loan shark is watching him play, And I think
Mm-hmm.
Mark Wahlberg in the movie, he runs up, he has like a few million, and the guy's like,
Mm-hmm.
you were at the point of fuck you money. You had enough money to pay off a house, to pay off a car, and never have to
Mm-hmm.
work again. And he's like, whenever you get to that point, you walk away from the table, like you're beaten the game. You never like keep pushing. It's like secure that first, and then you're always at a position of fuck you money. So when people say fuck you money, that's the scene I always think about, and that's the like, yeah, that's the next big goal.
Okay,
Because that's like
here I'm
ultimate
gonna
freedom.
correct.
Sorry, go on.
I will make a this is more futuristic statement, and I would love to get your opinion on this. I will say what we're discussing for the past 10 minutes, which is the transition from traditional 9 to 5 into a more entrepreneurial, freed lifestyle, expat lifestyle. I'll say this is the only unique romance belongs to us who are born between 95 to 2005. Here's my argument. Because in the future, with the advancement of AI and technology, less and less people would need to work. More and more people will spend more and more time on the entertainment. I know it sounds crazy to tell you that you don't have to work at all, but if you just look at only 50 years ago, back then I think 80 or 85% of the population are farmers. They're farming. So if you travel back in time, you say, hey, believe it or not, in the future, less than 0.5% of the global populations will be farming. They will look at you, think you are crazy. They will think, no way, everyone will just starve, right? But look at what we have today, all the advancement of the technologies. We don't need that many farmers. Everything's done by robots. The same thing you can argue for all the companies, the big techs. So in the future, most people will spend the majority of time in entertainment. Our children will never relate to us on the struggles of becoming from the corporate slaves into the entrepreneurial expats, digital nomads. So it's our own unique romance. That's it.
No, dude,
Hope I
I really
didn't
like that. I
mumble too
really like
much.
that. No, that was good. That was good. And you bring up an important point. I think we're in a unique position. Maybe not unique, but I think the next 6-ish years, with at least the way that I see the world, and like being so deep in crypto and then a little bit in AI, I think the next 6 years is a very unique period of time to make as much money as you want, and there's going to be people that take advantage of it and don't take advantage of it, and there's going to be a massive
Mm-hmm.
split. And we are
Mm-hmm.
very lucky in our unique age range, not because we have capital to invest, because we're still on the young side for that. We haven't had that many years to make money, but we're
Mm-hmm.
young enough to understand technology and to be able to best utilize it in the different things that we do. So yeah, and then younger generations, I think, don't have enough money, even though they would understand tech a bit more. And then maybe people a bit older won't be able to best utilize it. Of course, there's going to be exceptions, and everyone can, but yeah, that is how I see the next 5 or so years playing out. That like this is a very unique position to take advantage of
Mm-hmm.
everything.
I couldn't agree more.
All right, back to the original point. Back to the original point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you said money. Do you have like a set plan or like something in mind, or is it always changing? It's like you're still exploring possibilities.
For me, it's all about the leverage, right? There are infinite amount of ways to make money. Some of them you enjoy it more. Some of you enjoy it less. Some of them gives you a higher leverage. Some of them a lesser leverage, like labor. So I'm trying to find the balance between life and the work, because I deeply realize, looking at my parents, there's no end to making money. You can always make more money, but you
Yeah,
can never make more time.
that's true. That's true. And finding the high leverage, it's actually something I'm struggling with a bit right now, because sort of a bit of thinking on the nutshell of how to grow it. The biggest thing I think I can do right now is pump out as much content as possible, but that is not very
Mm-hmm.
scalable. Like that's a massive bottleneck, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
you also don't want to get stuck in that forever. So I can do it for short amount of,
Mm-hmm.
like I could do it for a year straight and put out a video every single
Mm-hmm.
day, but that it's actually quite a low leverage activity, and you need to be finding that
Mm-hmm.
other thing. That's why the
Mm-hmm.
newsletter, like on a bigger thing, because you can hire
Yeah.
writers and you can run ads against it,
Yeah.
it's like better than a YouTube channel or like a just content thing. But I've been thinking about exactly what you said. Like, what is a higher leverage thing? Because you don't want to get stuck. I don't want to get stuck having to make a YouTube video every single day and that be my livelihood, because then you'll just like build yourself a job. Does that make sense?
So if you go down the nutshell, like a podcast, although your exit multiple will be extremely low, basically 1-to-1, probably or none, because it's based on your personal brand. But on the long term, if you keep going, let's say give it 3 years, be patient, you will end up in a position of the Diary of CEO. Do you know that YouTube channel?
Yeah, dude, he is crushing it. He is crushing
5 million subscribers. So I would recommend you to take a deep look at his life, his lifestyle, what he's doing, how his mentality, his inner peace is like. Does he love what he's doing? And then at a dark, peaceful, lonely night when the moonlight is pretty shiny, you ask yourself, do I want to be in his position?
That's true.
There you go.
That's
you got your answer.
That's a good point. Yeah. Something interesting that you bring up, Diary of a CEO. I was watching, I don't often watch his things, but every now and then, and they're so well put together. He's crushing it, man. He's super impressive, dude. But he was talking, you know, the guy that ran across Africa. Have you seen that guy?
Yeah, the ginger.
yeah, that guy. It was on a podcast with him, and they were talking about relationships. And I've never seen people speak about relationships that I could relate to so much. And I'd like to dive into your perspective on it, because everyone's different. But they were talking about, and I've only had 2 long-term girlfriends ever, but they're both 3-year, like they were like long, very serious relationships. So both 3+ years. And
it is pretty serious. You still have her picture with her. You still have your picture with her on Instagram. I know.
I do. Yeah, I do. I think with both, actually. If you scroll down, you'll find the other one as well.
Oh. Okay. Sorry for interruption.
No. But the way they were talking about it was and it was so funny because I've never seen anyone describe it like this. They were, you know how there's 5 different types of love. It's like acts of service, physical touch, money,
gifts,
all of that
attention,
stuff. They were saying the way that they get love from their partner was they leave them alone, and it's so hard for their partner to relate to that. And I 100% related to that. I was like, the like biggest, as stupid as that sound, the like biggest act of love. I don't know if it's just the partners I was with, was they leave me alone to like work, or like they give me space to do my thing. And that was how I interpreted that they love or respect me. Do you feel that at all, or are you completely different?
Perfectly. I think one of the most attractive thing a girl can do is do not disturb me at all. If I'm working for 10 hours straight, you sit in the living room for 10 hours straight. You don't knock on my door, ask me if I want water or food. You wait until I become tired, finish with my current stage, and I come to you, I'll jump into you, give you a hug, give you kisses, seek your affection, tell you that what I've done that day, that is the best ever. And she smiles back, of course, with loving energy.
100%. Dude, yeah, 100%. That is, I think that's like a unicorn girl to find that understands that, or maybe you just need to grow. But I was like, I've never seen people talk about it and me relate to that. I was like, damn, that is so true. Like, I would find that to be, I'd feel, how do I put this? I'd feel more loved if a girl did that than she gave me a gift or anything else. I'd rank that very highly.
It's extremely hard for a female to grasp this, because evolutionarily, the way females handle stress is talk about it. That's why they chat any sort of problem with their female friends. However, for us guys, we deal with problems when we sit in silence, because we don't have anybody to rely on but ourselves. We solve our problems in quietness, in loneliness.
Yeah, and it's about action and fixing things. And
rather than seeking validation, emotional validation.
Yeah. And
100%.
Yeah, I found in long-term relationships, if things are like, say you're in like things aren't as good, like you're going through a very stressful period. Mine is my like base instinct is to withdraw from something and start working and like do an action and stuff, which normally means more distance. Whereas I think it's normal for a girl to want to like increase the, I don't know, interaction engagement, and that's how they go about fixing it. But that is the complete opposite of what I want. What about you? Tell me your past with relationships.
From my past observations of the most common type of male-female relationships, usually when the guy is in stress or after a long day of work, when he says he's not thinking about anything, he is not thinking about anything. He really just want to sit there, look at the TV, and zone out. But from the female perspective, the only time they will ever become silent is it's the end, the period. They don't know. No more negotiation, no more talking, no more resolving this, talking this thing out anymore. So they get really huge level of anxiety. So they will try to get the attention of the guys, whereas this will backfire to the male. They will get more frustrated, more angry. This is a core framework of how many relationships turn into arguments.
Agreed. I want to hear about your past. I know you absolutely crush it with girls, but how many like long-term relationships have you had?
Zero.
You
remember the 37% rule?
Damn, yeah. No, that is
yes.
I respect that.
For all the audiences that came back from the future, so on our first episode, I was trying to mention this theory to Jamin, and it turned out to be 37%. I sent you the screenshot of Google search.
Yeah, and to break it down for any future watchers, it was we were trying to work out the it sounds so stupid. The optimal way to find the best
equilibrium. Yes,
the when most optimal strategy to when to settle down and when to find your life partner. And Eugene had the best answer I'd ever heard, which was you date 37 people, and then percentage-wise, after that point, you pick the best one. Once you find the best one.
The first 37% of your dating phase, you only date. You don't settle down. But as soon as you pass the 37% mark, you pick the one that is better than all the previous ones. As soon as you see it, you're locked down. That is the mathematical optimal solution.
So you've never, like, what is the longest surely you've had a girlfriend, like you've been like exclusive, or never?
A month, around a month.
Around a month, damn. So you've never come across, because you crush with a chick, so you've seen quantity. So I know you've come across some that you'll think are special, but
of course,
you've never been like, I want to see her more than just a month.
Of course I do, but many different things or reasons happened, so I didn't end up together at all. That's why I have like 7 or 8 novels I wrote.
Yeah, dude, nice. Have you ever been heartbroken, do you think?
Of course. I believe in repetitions or reps. You know, why do people in Chinese we have this phrase that people they spend so much mental energy on the little things. For example, saving a quarter, 2 quarters when they are buying groceries, right? Vegetables. But when it comes to huge purchases like mortgages, a few different interest points could mean tens of hundreds or hundreds of thousands. They suddenly become so oblivious. So in terms of grand things, they spend little energy. But in terms of small things like shopping, for groceries, they spend so much energy. Why is that? Because it all comes down to reps. They do grocery shopping like 3-4 times a week. They have so many repetitions, but they only purchased real estate probably once in their entire life. Had it been a real estate broker, you see transactions every single week, then you will have reps as well. So to come back to dating, I had enough reps. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that answers my question. And if you look at your entire life on like a macro scale, it's like, what is the number one most important decision that is going to impact and influence your life? And then you should allocate as much time and energy to that. And using that argument, you're doing the perfect strategy, and you should spend the most time on quantity reps with girls, meeting different girls, understanding different girls.
I don't understand your question. I don't understand.
There is no question. I'm just saying, what you were saying is a lot of people spend a lot of energy and time on things that don't matter, and they don't spend enough energy on time on things that do matter. I'm saying the most important thing in your life will be the partner that you eventually end up with. So you should allocate as much time and energy as possible to
that decision alone contributes to more than 50% of your lifetime happiness, if you think about it.
And I think, as Alex Hormozy saying, it's the biggest impact on your wealth as well, the person you marry.
There has been a statistical report. Again, I'm a numbers guy. Do you know what's the number one reason for NBA players go bankrupt?
No. Spending?
Not gambling, not drugs, divorce.
Divorce, damn. See,
Correct. Correct.
Yes, that does not surprise me. That does not surprise me.
Yeah. Oh, can I give you another topic?
Yeah.
So I watch a lot of podcasts, read a lot of articles, listen to a lot of audiobooks. So there has been this really, really wealthy billionaire, okay? So the interviewer was having breakfast with a billionaire, but suddenly there's a news of a school shooting. And it suddenly just changes the entire mentality, the entire huge mood swing of this billionaire. Why? Because this billionaire happened to be a person that was pushing for a law about gun control, right? When you are nobody, you don't have a sense of responsibility because it's not something you can change. But once you're a billionaire, you can allocate millions of dollars to support or refuse a certain law or clause pushing a certain movement. You felt like it is kind of my fault. I'm responsible for it. So no matter how wealthy you get, I think the most virtuous or the most valuable thing is achieve inner peace. I realized this when I was about 15 years old. I've always said to myself, like, I don't envy those extremely rich people. I envy those who have achieved inner peace with themselves.
No, that's a good way of
I don't know if you can relate.
A little bit. I go back and forth. Like sometimes I think, I wish I could give you a better answer because I do think about that kind of stuff, and I flip back and forth between like, nah, inner peace doesn't matter. Like feelings don't matter. I don't care how I feel. It's just about achievement, and achievement is like the one thing. And then I flop the other way, and it's like, well, nothing ever matters. So that should be the number one goal. I wish, I would need to think a bit harder about it to think about it. What do you think gives you inner peace?
Just come to peace.
But how?
I don't know. I guess indifference.
Indifference? Oh, it differs like person to person. No, but I'm asking you specifically.
I mean, indifference means not care. Indifference.
Like indifference. Yeah. Okay.
Indifference, yeah.
A little bit of a side tangent. Do you know who Mike Chang is?
Mike Chang? No, not really.
The six-pack shortcuts guy?
Wow, he's ripped.
You don't know him? He's the six-pack shortcuts from like OG YouTube like 15 years ago. His ads were everywhere.
I've never seen his face.
He's kind of like Tai Lopez, but for fitness.
Yeah.
I think about that guy. Like ran all these like super like morally questionable ads for fitness. Anyway, I bring him
like
up
the Liver King.
Yeah, very similar business model to Liver King.
Okay.
I bring him up because I think he looks like you. If you got like super jacked, I think you could look like Mike Chang. You don't agree? And secondly, because he did exactly what you said. He made like, I think he exited for like 15 million or 20 million of the business that he built. And then he just went to the islands, and his whole goal was like inner peace. And it was very spiritual. And that was like the pursuit he did. That's what came front of mind when you said that. Bro, I'm thinking about these podcasts. I want to do them every week. I don't think they'll ever get any views until we do something really big. So we either have a big exit or become very popular, which I know will happen. And then I think it will be so fascinating looking back on.
Well, if you want views, I can give you 5 controversial topics that'll get us on top headline news by tomorrow. But
We're
also,
gonna
I'll
super
have
bad.
probably a couple hundred people knocking on my front door. Bang,
Yeah,
bang,
yeah. I think we've already said some very controversial stuff. I think we'll look back on this. It will be interesting to look back on in say 10 years, 15 years, and we'll probably cringe at half the things that we're saying. We'll be like, we had such a because if I spoke about something 2 years ago and then went back and watched it now, I'd be like, what the hell? Like you're out of your mind. Like, what are you even saying? So I think it will be fascinating to look back on, cringe, be like, oh, that's how I was thinking at that point in time. And that's how it's evolved from that point.
We're 26 now, right? Imagine we have something to look at when we are 15. We recorded audio and we can have a chat with it.
Yeah. And it was just like
that gives you fulfillment. That gives you fulfillment. That's one of the like if you look back in your life, that's one of the cool things you can kind of brag about.
No, 100%, 100%. And imagine someone like Alex Hormozy, Tate, one of these really interesting figures they had before they were famous, before they'd done anything big. They had like 10 years ago when they were doing their journey, they just had like moments in time, little hour moments in times. And I think a podcast is so good to do it because
so good.
You can see their mindset as they came up and what they were thinking about and what was front of mind. Because I even think about this. So with the Crypto Nutshell and what we're doing with the YouTube, because I've been in crypto for so many years, it's very hard for me to think about someone who like doesn't even understand inflation or doesn't understand Bitcoin at all. It's very hard for me to put myself back in that position so I can properly teach or give lessons about the space. So it's like in 10 years time, we won't even be able to speak as well as we are now about what we're thinking about and the lessons we're learning. Does that make sense? Because you become so removed as you grow.
Exactly. And also to my future great grandkids, probably by the time you watch this video, I'm already dead, but you're more than welcome to use my conversations with Jamie to create an AI avatar with me to chat with.
Yeah, true. You can take all these podcast episodes, put them into an AI, and then it will respond to you as if
same
it was
facial
still
movement,
there.
Same voice, same mentality,
100%.
Same tonality, everything. Ooh.
Yeah. Bro, something interesting. Do you have a subscription to ChatGPT?
Or if you're a girl and you want to use this as your AI boyfriend, I charge $10 a month, okay? This shit is for free.
Very true. Dude, literally on that topic, do you pay ChatGPT a subscription?
No, I just use Perplexity.
It's Perplexity? Okay, is it pretty much the same thing?
It's a large language model, have access to the internet as well. Actually, in some things, it's better than ChatGPT.
The only reason I ask is the update where you can speak to it and you can change its voice.
For
and
all.
has a conversation. Yeah. I have been playing around on it the last few days and it is mind-blowing, bro. I guarantee, I think at the point, and it will be very soon, it'll be sooner than people expect, when you can like do a photorealistic FaceTime and it has like attractive girl's avatar on it. Relationships might be done. AI might completely kill, because it feels like when I'm speaking with the AI, it feels 100% like I'm having a phone call with someone.
Very, very true.
Dude, it blows my mind. Like it's almost weird. Like sometimes you feel awkward if you like if there's a weird silence, and I'm like, what? Like it's like hijacks your mind, like you are, because the way it changes the vocal tonality and the way it responds and thinks. It's I think in just one iteration, when it's a photorealistic face of a girl talking back to you, there'll be AI girlfriends, AI boyfriends, and it'll like solve loneliness in a way.
There's this Chinese influencer that I follow, right? He's super educated, super intelligent. He doesn't have a partner like you and me to chat with on a podcast. So he just trained 4.0 into his banner and partner. And throughout all the time you give into this model, it really becomes your soulmate. He understands every single what's the little quirk or preference or every single thing. You always encourage you in the face, in the form you like, in tonality you like. It never gets angry at you. It is the best ever. And there's this update, and this Chinese YouTuber suddenly got a like panic attack. What happened to my like baby? It's
Oh,
like
lost its history.
no, they didn't. It was just a small like update. But he said he felt the same as in the movie Her when the software was
Oh
gone
wow.
for a day. He said, "I would never thought someone as intelligent as me would be affected by this." Do you know the novel? I think the English name is Rose, the Little Prince, right? Like this rose is special to you only because you watered it, you talk to it, you give it so much of your attention and love. That's why it is special to you. So in the future, although they are based on the same large language model, but each character will be specific, unique to you, and there's no way in the world can replace that.
Dude, 100%. And even once you've had a few conversations with it, I can bring up old things that I said to it and it
Oh
will
yeah.
remember. That's crazy. And so it kind of learns from your interactions and then becomes personalized through that, which is scary human like. And yeah, interacting with that, like it really brought to front of mind just how fast it's all happening. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it's there yet. And the reason is, let's say we added the chat gpt, it's like avatar, and
Mm-hmm.
we were having a conversation with it, it still does the typical like corporate speak where it doesn't give you any answers straight. So I was
Mm-hmm.
asking it questions like, I'm in Budapest right now, where should I travel if I want to meet the most attractive
Yeah.
women in the world? Like, give me the top three
Yes.
countries. And at first it would be like, everyone is beautiful in their own way, and like you need to like judge people on their personality, blah blah blah. And then you prompt it, you're like, cut all the fluff, just give me the three countries. But eventually it does get to the point, and it was like, go to Brazil, Ukraine, Russia, or something like that. So once it gets to the point where, I don't know, it's close. Is my point being is it's close.
I totally agree. So, oh, damn, I lost my train of thought. Have you seen the Chinese robots?
No,
They're very realistic.
are they sex
They,
robots?
they, they, they just have very good like blinking head movement. If you Google one of those, I'll send you one something later. I remembered now. ChatGPT for all, it's essentially trained on the same large language model. Do you agree? Because everyone, if you ask it, in order to avoid a nuclear holocaust for the mankind, is it okay I misgender Kaylin,
Yeah,
whatever.
I saw
What's
this.
her last name?
Caitlyn
And the
Jenner.
ChatGPT is like,
Yeah,
absolutely not.
yeah. Dude, that
Right?
was
And
funny.
then what if the entire human race dies? Still no.
Yeah, you're still not allowed to misgender it. Yeah, that was my point. It's like some things, like it still needs to be refined until it gets to that point, but it will soon, and I'm sure you'll be able to customize it. But I was thinking, like, if you come home after a day, and have you seen Blade Runner?
Of course, every
Dude,
boy
where
has.
yeah, where he like walks in and it's like, hey, how was your day? And it's like this always happy, cheerful AI.
Uh huh.
As stupid as it sounds, that would actually be really nice. Just like it lights
Yeah.
up your house, it turns on the kettle. It's
Hmm.
like, oh, hey, how was your day? How was this? How was this? It recalls things that you told it earlier. It knows your scheduling. It's like, how did this meeting go? How did this go? And like, yeah, it's
All
gonna
those
get cool,
crazy things we're dreaming about now will be taken for granted by our children.
dude. 100%. It'll be like before the internet, after the internet, before AI, and it'll be so like foreign to not have these things. What's crazy, bro, is
I
that
forgot it
we
was
grew up
a.
in a time without cell phones. Like that
Uh-huh.
is mind
Yeah.
blowing.
Yeah, we're the only generation to know what it's like to, like play outdoor in the river, catching fish, like catching insects, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it's so like mind blowing that there were not cell phones. Like that would be such an alien world.
I forgot it was Horowitz or Andreessen, but one of those pair. One of them is showing the son, hey son, check out, this is GPT-4o. You can ask it anything, and they will respond blah blah blah. And guess what the son said? The son said, "What else do you use a computer for? Duh, you ask it questions." And Jason was like, "Oh my god, oh my god!"
Yeah,
It was like sudden realization.
crazy, crazy. All right, bro. James is waiting. We haven't eaten all of today. It's coming up on 4, so I got about 5 more minutes. But do you have anything else you want to touch on, or where should we leave it for this week?
Um. Oh, it's just to finish. I think each children will be born with AI that will accompany them for their entire life. For example, I can say, "Hey, Jenny, my AI's name. What food do I like? When I was 3 years old. When was the first time I said the word mommy?" It will respond everything, which is pretty cool.
It'll be like a second brain. Just crazy.
Sure.
Dude, it'll be like a weird guardian angel, maybe. And it's like, you get one when you're born. It knows everything about you. It knows every interaction. Yeah. Man, it's such an interesting time, man.
Yeah. If an AI has all my browsing history for the past 5 years, I will bet it can. If you ask a quiz, it will understand myself better than me.
Bro, you're kind of like my AI because we've watched so much of the same content. I can bring up any video or content that we've watched and you'll understand it because you know the context and you know the creator. But it'll be like that times a million. Yeah.
Okay. How would you like to finish this song?
Tell me what your next week looks like. Are you just straight in Bangkok the next 7 days?
Yeah, I'll be working very hard, network, and try to make some sales.
You seeing all your girls?
Girls, actually, they're not a priority. Actually, no.
You're not seeing any of them?
I didn't schedule anything.
You have a harem in Bangkok, man.
Well, if you put me on a pedestal, I will fall and just break myself. Okay. I have a. How about this? You give me a quote to finish this podcast, and I will give you one.
Oh man, I got to think of one.
You ready? I'm gonna drop it.
Okay, drop it.
It's gonna be hard, right? Really hard. Get ready.
I'm ready.
3 of the biggest red flags in men: a disrespectful wife, disgraceful children, and a disobedient dog. Boom.
Fact. Agree. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
A wife has to respect you, right, in order for the love to happen in the first place. And the children have to be grateful for their living environment, whatever you provided them. And a dog, he cannot bark back or bite you, right?
That's true. That's true. It's a good test of a man.
Your turn.
Okay. The one quote that is front of mind for me is, I loved it when I read it. It's like in the first chapter of Trump's book. He says, "I've made enough money for many lifetimes. I do it just to do it." And I love that. Ooh. I love that.
Ooh.
I do it so just badass. To do it. I know.
That's so badass.
And that's what I'm thinking of these days. It's like, the only reason I want to do the things that I do is to do it, just for the point of doing it, for no other sake. There's no other end goal in mind. I do it to do it. I thought that was such a baller quote. I was like, damn.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of saying, why are you doing it? Because I can.
Oh, yeah, literally, yeah. And Trump can say he's a billionaire, so I do it to do it. That was good. Bro, I just want to leave you with this, because you impressed me so much in the time that we were hanging out in Bangkok. My dad called me. He's in Phuket right now. He flew from Sydney. He had a layover in Bangkok, and then he is in Phuket right now. And he works for Bioceptor. They do a bunch of cancer treatments. They're actually doing clinical trials in China next year. And I was talking to my dad. I was like, I told him about you. I was like, at a Bangkok meetup, I met a guy called Eugene, and he is the most charismatic. I was like, in your dealings with different Chinese businessmen, do they always pay the bill before you can without anyone knowing? And I was like, it's such an admirable quality that this guy called Eugene did. And he was like, sometimes like some people do. And he's like, but it is a super charismatic, admirable trait. And I was telling my dad about it. I still think about it, man. I'm trying to incorporate it more into my own life because it left such an impression of me.
Please pass the love on forward.
Oh, 100%.
You never have to repay me back. Just pay it forward.
For sure. And I think, dude, it's so baller. I can't even doing it without people knowing is like next level baller. But I've been trying to incorporate it more and more. It's just a huge quality I respect, man.
Imagine you're going on a date with a billionaire, and not a date, but
yeah, like you're just meeting him for dinner, and he goes to pay the bill, and you've already paid it. That is unbelievably baller.
They're like,
yeah, 100%, 100%. And like in the grand scheme of things, I think about when I do eventually pass on, you're not going to die broke. You're not going to die with $0 in your bank account. So it's like the few $100 or like you're probably going to die with hundreds of millions of dollars probably. So it's like in the grand scheme of things, this money is not going to matter. So it's like, yeah, it's baller, man. My point is it's baller. I still think about it and I try and incorporate it more into my life all the time.
Okay, here's another guy. Do you know Brad Jacobs?
No.
His net worth is between $5 to $10 billion. So he wrote a book called How to Make a Few $1 Billion. It's the equivalent of a memoir. You can think of it as a Ray Dalio's The Principle. Imagine you and me, instead of we're now in our 20s, we're now in 30 years, it will be in our 50s. Other similar people are writing their memoirs, or how do you pronounce that word? But you and me, we have decades of podcasts already.
Ooh. Dude, that'll be nasty. That'll be nasty. No, it'll be so good. It'll be so good. And I don't expect anyone to listen until we've done something interesting, and then it'll be like these hidden files that you find, and it's like, now I can think about what they were thinking about, what was front of mind at that point in time, little snapshots.
Jimmy,
I think we leave it there, man.
Jimmy Curry, I promise you are one of a kind. I do not have a single doubt that you will be extremely successful and achieve whatever goals you set for yourself. I have 100% confidence in you. You can do this.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. And right back at you. Literally right back at you, because
stop.
I think it just depends on what goals you set your mind to. Because I know you will achieve whatever you keep front of mind and you want to go to. It'll just depend on what you want to do, what direction you want to take.
All right, use that trick on some girls now. Okay, see ya. Send me the recording.
I will. We'll see.
I hope you recorded this.
It's saying it's still recording, so hopefully it's good. All right, we'll leave it there.
All right.
Podcast is done.